Hello, guys. I hope you enjoyed that intro. It might be a bit odd seeing us back in Riegensberg. I want to explain exactly what has happened and why we're back, even though I said we're taking a break. So, I was feeling pretty burnt out on Regensburg, and I felt like I needed to ease a lot of that kind of stress on myself to finish this place and have it done by the end of summer. I've accepted now that it's going to be an ongoing project that we come back to here and there as we do other things. Right now, I feel inspired to do this small industrial sector. So, we're going to have the paper company, a small coal storage facility, and another factory that might be producing iron or something like that. I'm not sure. But, point being, there are things I feel more inspired for right now and things that I just feel less like doing. For instance, the kind of worker housing on the side there, I really have no inspiration to do. On the other hand, I really like this paper company building. I love the sign. It is a mix of walls and stairs and slabs using the debug stick. It took me a while to figure it out, but I'm really happy with it and the detail we got in such a small space. It's inspired partly by me playing Red Dead Redemption 2 still, and partly by the Ferrin Five Roses sign in Montreal, Canada. We're also using glass up here to look like a big smokestack coming out of the chimney, which I think is really nice. I think it works a lot better than the Minecraft campfires because it really has that big oomph, that texture, and all that. On the side here in this canal, this sector is not available for boating. It's chained off on both ends, and you can see that we have a big water wheel here, and this is controlling the pulp grinder. So I'll show you a bit that. In the front here, we also have an escape ladder, which I think is really cool, or an escape fire escape. I really like this design. I was inspired by something online, but I kind of made it my own, and I chose to make it green because I felt like it fit with the overall kind of green vibe of this, as opposed to something a bit more reddish color. So let's actually get down in here, and I'll start explaining my kind of process is going through this. So for this building's interior, I was especially inspired by watching a 1941 documentary about paper production in the US. So I've kind of modeled the process of this place after that. So over here, we get these kind of short stripped logs from the canals. So this canal is wide enough for boats to pass through, and they can come in here and we can use this crane to pick up the logs one by one and bring them into here. From this, we can bring them into this building. I'll warn you right now, the fire is going to be a bit loud as we get to it. But we have this place here where we are grinding up the wood into pulp. So here we see the big water wheel. It turns this bit, that spins this large grindstone, and that grinds it down into like a thick kind of pulpy substance. But it's still pretty what we'd call like raw and dry. So over here, this is the first part. This is the digestion vat. And you can see that all three of these vats are drawing heat from the big chimney. So that's why that's here. It's to heat up these vats. So the digestion vat essentially cooks it into a usable product. The open vat here is where we add the water and stuff, and we can start turning this into a slurry. We can take that slurry and pass it through the thickener here, and it'll slowly get thicker and thicker into a more usable substance. Ideally, we'd have a couple of what do you call them? Conveyor belts in here as well. But I don't quite have the space for all that. This is a pretty small building, all things considered. We also have over here some storage lockers that we might be using for things like the bleaching agents. Because this step here is where we are bleaching all the stuff into white paper. So we bleach it and then we lay it out on these racks. After it drains through the racks into those grates there, we can take a big kind of like cutter and start cutting away pieces of it. And if you're wondering, this here is going to go into that coal storage facility. If we come upstairs now, we have this lovely second layer. It feels really big and open. There's even a ladder over there, so you can walk across the rafters if you wanted to explore this in survival. So we're taking the paper, we are packaging it up with some string and some packaging, and then once we have these big pieces, we can send those over to like the newspaper place. And that's kind of why I wanted to build this factory in the first place, is because we have all these newspaper stands in Riegensberg, and I was like, oh, that's going to take a lot of paper. And we also have places like the monastery in Sarneville and the bookstore also in Sarneville, but there's also a bookstore in Newport. So a lot of these places need paper, and that's where we're getting all the paper from, is this specific factory. That gets us out onto the fire escape. If we come around here, you see that there is a small worker area. So we've got a couple of tables to break for lunch, some storage lockers, and then if I come on this side, we have a couple of bathrooms. Can't forget the bathrooms. Got a pretty nice view too, although it'll be blocked a little bit by that factory. If we come around to this side, we can enter the secretary office. It's pretty bland in here. I might add a little bit more detail, perhaps a carpet, but I want it to still feel pretty wooden and pretty bland largely, because it's a good contrast against this. And this is a nice, rich space. We're using the dark oak to look like a really rich, almost polished wood. Got that bright red. We have paintings. We have the only flowers or plants in this whole place. And we have some books, so you can kind of tie that into the paper theming. And of course, on the side here, we have a small safe. So there is a bank over on that side of the river, or on that side of the canal. But I like the idea that maybe not everyone in Riegensberg likes using the bank or trusts the bank entirely. Or maybe you just need a safe in your house, because you don't always want to be going to the bank. So maybe this is where we keep some of the profits. But yeah, I really like this place. I think it's a really interesting build. I love using real world inspiration, and one of the things I really like is that the more Riegensberg progresses, the more we draw inspiration from different places, and the more unique it starts to feel. It starts to feel more like a wonderful hodgepodge of things, instead of just taking some specific elements and trying to make them my own. I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, I get a much greater sense of pride the more I feel like it's unique and the more I feel like it's me who made it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I should be back sometime soon with another video. So yeah, see ya.